Okay, so we have third grade math data, and let's take a look at the areas that they were tested in first. We have the 5 reporting categories: numbers operations. Category 2 is actually algebraic reasoning. Category 3, geometry. Category 4, measurement, and Category 5, probability and statistics. When you look at the test breakdown, you have 15 questions were focused on Category 1. 8 questions hit on Category 2, 9 questions Category 3, 8 questions Category 4, and 6 questions Category 5. We had 20 students who took the assessment. 20%, which is 4 students, got scored advanced. 65% satisfactory, that's 13 students, and 15% unsatisfactory, that's the 3 students who did not pass this test. We look at the demographics. The ethnic breakdown is 35% of the students who tested were white, 25% African American, 20% Hispanic, and 20% Asian. Moving on to our strengths, we have Category 5, where students will demonstrate understanding of probability and statistics. All questions in reporting Category 5 were answered correctly, so 85% of the time or higher except for 1. We had 8 students who answered 4 to 5 questions correct. 3 students out of the 20 answered 3 or less questions correct, and 9 students answered 6 questions correct. The next strong area was Category 4. On 7 out of the 8 questions that fall under Category 4, the students answered correctly 75% of the time. So we had 1 student who answered 3 or less questions correct, 4 students who answered 4 to 5 questions correct, 7 students answered 6 to 7 questions correct, and 8 students who answered all 8 correct. So again, as a class, they did very well on this category. Another category they did well in was Category 3, which is the geometry and spatial reasoning. Each student, except for a few, answered at least 7 out of 9 questions correct. 1 question was answered correctly 100% of the time. So 12 students answered 7 to 8 questions correct. 4 students 5 to 6 questions correct, and 4 students answered 9 questions correct. When we're looking at our weak areas, Category 1, about 50% of the students missed 5 or more questions of the 15 questions asked. So we had 8 students who answered 13 to 14 questions correct. We had 1 student who got all 15 questions correct. 7 students answered 10 to 12 questions correct. And then we have 2 students 7 to 9 questions correct, and 2 students 6 or less questions correct. And these are the students that would fall into that intervention category more than likely to help them in that area. These are the interventions that were put into place. We have the instructional strategies, non-linguistic representation, identifying similarities and differences. They had a formative assessments, teacher observation, exit slips around the world, and homework. And then we have the summative assessment that they put there, were the unit test and the pizza project, some sort of a summative activity. The second area that was the students were weak in was the patterns relationship and algebraic reasoning category. 25% of the class missed 3 or more questions of the 8 questions asked. So there were 8 questions in this category, and 10 students answered 6 to 7 questions correct. 4 students answered 8 questions correct, all of them. And then 3 students answered 3 or less questions correct, and 3 students answered 4 to 5 questions correct. So when we're looking at intervention, we're probably going to look at these two groups right here, those 6 students. And the interventions they put in place for them were the instructional strategies, reinforcing effort, providing recognition, cooperative learning, the formative assessments, feedback and reflection, assignment score graph, student pattern, and then the summative assessment, the unit test, and then this game that they have put in place to help tie everything together. So I hope this data chat helped. Thank you.